And last night's protests were much different from the night before on Monday. We have live team coverage tracking what did happen overnight. We're going to check in with ALYSSA TOOMEY in St. Louis County in just a moment. But first, we're going to start off with Justin Andrews, and he is tracking overnight incidents in the city. Justin.
Mo, like you said, it was not this quiet yesterday, just 24 hours ago. We saw looters and vandals in the act. I was live on the air giving you play-by-play accounts of what was unfolding yesterday. Overnight, though, a totally different story, a new narrative, calm for the most part, something city leaders were calling for on yesterday. Police were certainly out, though, responding to about a handful of reports. There were small groups of people across the city, but nothing out of control. Officers did go to a couple ATM break-ins. There was one on Goodfellow, another at the Bank of America ATM on the Halls Ferry Circle area. Police say money was taken from this one. We saw people trying to break into ATMs yesterday, too. As a reminder, city police officers began working 12-hour shifts on Monday in anticipation for any action from agitators. Businesses like this Target store in South City boarding up, preparing for anything that could pop off, just wanting to be ready. Keep in mind, Mayor Crewson issued a curfew for the city that went into effect yesterday at 9 o'clock at night and is still in effect. And I guess I should say it lifts up after 6 o'clock this morning. But my colleague, ALYSSA TOOMEY. ALYSSA, you're in St. Louis County right now. We got called in early this morning to monitor what could happen overnight. What are you seeing in St. Louis County?
Yeah, Justin, and thankfully it is a similar story here in St. Louis County, a rather quiet night in comparison to some of the violent nights that we have seen. Right now I'm standing outside the St. Louis Galleria. You can see here behind me that there are still barricades up in front of the Galleria. It's actually not even possible to drive into the parking lot at this hour. The Galleria has been closed since Sunday in response to some of that violence that we have seen throughout the week. But again, last night was fairly peaceful, especially in comparison to the past few nights. So take a look. Here's what we saw last night. There was a peaceful protest in Ferguson with roughly a few hundred people. Protesters stood outside the boarded up Ferguson Police Department before marching towards I-70. Many chanted, "No justice, no peace," in honor of George Floyd. And then outside the Galleria last night, there was also a large police presence throughout the evening. Many businesses there boarded up over concern of looting. But again, we didn't see any of that widespread violence that we've seen over the past few evenings, or even those larger groups that we saw gather outside the Galleria earlier this week. Now back out here live this morning, the Galleria is expected to remain closed today. The Galleria had said that it would be closed through Wednesday. We're going to be checking in to find out if they still plan to open up on Thursday, especially since we saw a fairly quiet night. I do also want to note that as we were driving over here, I saw several police officers out monitoring the county. Live here in St. Louis County this morning, ALYSSA TOOMEY, News 4.